come right back here to another crisis. Or is it? Or has that been averted? And this is what's happening with the war on corruption. And this is our discussion tonight on Checkpoint. So let's take stock of where and how far we have come since the President's second State of the Nation address, in which he focused heavily on corruption and our national values. Now, the information here is from a press statement from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. They were giving some sort of status update on where we are since the President released that list of shame. Now, this was done earlier in the month of June, and this is what the CEO, Halake Wako, had to say. He talked about some of the achievements there, and he will continue to list some of the achievements. But let's, the challenges. Let's start with the good stuff. First of all, out of those 175 names in that list, 96 public officials have been charged with various corruption-related offenses. Let's take a look at some of the names you might recognize here. Charity Ngilu, Engineer Michael Kamau, these are former cabinet secretaries who have stepped aside to face the charges. We have commissioners here, Ronald Masengi, Zablon Maber from Lands. Of course, remember Alfred Keter, Sonia Birdi, members of parliament there. For breaching Chapter 6, we have Richard Onyonka, MPs Julius Ndegwa and Peter Shehe. Now, that's not all. We're told there's some more good news. Administrative action taken against 31 public officials, and for 11 other public officials, that was good news for them. They were cleared of wrongdoing and their files were closed by the DPP and indeed the EACC. That statement from EACC also continues to say that a total of 16 private companies and individuals have been charged with corruption-related offenses as well. And they say they're in the midst of carrying out an analysis of the evidence ongoing in respect of over 70 files. That is still ongoing. And the EACC Chief Executive Officer has promised to give the President an update every 4 weeks as required by law. And I just want to read you a little bit of that statement. It says, I further acknowledge the public desire for an expeditious conclusion to these investigations. However, I wish to reiterate that due to the complexity of some of the cases under investigation, coupled with the multi-jurisdictional nature in some instances, it behoves the Commission to ensure that it fully exhausts all investigative leads in order to fulfill its legal mandates. Let's take a look at something else. One of the biggest corruption scandals of our time, and that is the Anglo Leasing scandal. A list of 10 suspects who are currently in court with those cases. Here we go. So some people saying kudos to the Jubilee administration for making this happen during their administration. Here are the names of some of those. Senator Chris Obure, Francis Chahonyo is a former Postmaster General, Dave Mwangi, Sami Chungu, these you remember are permanent secretaries, Samuel Bundotich, David Onyonka, and you remember the three individuals, the Kamanis there. So these are just some of the things that have been done in the fight against corruption, but the opposition does not think that this is enough. I want you to listen into a statement made by Kalonzo Musyoka as a court co-principal. He made these statements yesterday in the Jubilee administration's fight on corruption. Listen to this.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has called global attention to pervasive corruption in his office. But for reasons only known to himself, he lacks the courage to name the fat cats. When a president is held hostage by an evil cabal of corruption cartels, the outcome would make Anglo Leasing and Goldenberg look like child play. It is a pity that statecraft and resources are being mobilized to insulate devolution CS Anne Waiguru from accountability on suspected shady dealings in our ministry, while at the same time unleashing dogs of war on peripheral courts, cabinet secretaries, and other senior government actors on flimsy allegations of corruption. Let us make this point very clear. We will not drop the demand for Waiguru to either step down or be forced out of office to pave way for proper investigations into the award of tenders and jobs in our devolution docket.
All right, so some of those peripheral ministers, one would imagine he's speaking about Charity Ngilu, for whom he showed support in court the other day when she was there to answer to her charges. So the question we're asking today on Checkpoint is, have we failed to recognize the efforts made by the Jubilee administration in the war on graft, or does more need to be done? Our panelists tonight, Atieno Ndomon, Jerry Thorne, and Barack Maluka, your views are invited as well. The hashtag we're using is Checkpoint, the SMS number 2215.